I should probably remove her from the thing, but I won't remove her. I'll just leave her in the thing. It's fine. I'll leave her in the visual. I'm gonna be posting this on an actual podcast platform later anyway. Anyway, what's up? Hello everybody and welcome to episode 49. Is it 49 episodes? Wait, does that mean the next episode is episode 50? Yo! That's gonna be so cool. Hey. Welcome everyone to episode 49 of the Webcomics Hubcast. Webcomics Hubcast. That name never rings well for me. Today we got a whole bunch of top stuff to talk about. I did say it all in the pre-show, so if you didn't hear it, we'll get to it later. But my co-host Kaz isn't here today, unfortunately. She'll be here later, but for now, no. So, we'll just get into the first topic of the day that I wanted to talk about. The Center for Cartoon Studies and the Comics Beat team are doing what they are running together the 2021 Cartoonist Studio Prize. The Cartoonist Studio Prize is pretty much like our regular webcomic contest and regular comic contests. It's pretty much that, but this time it's not just for print comics. It's actually for print and webcomics in two separate categories, and the actual winners for both categories will get $1,000, so there is money, thank God, and you get a Wacom One creative pen display, which I have looked at. It is not like it's a screen tablet. It's not like there's really big screen tablets, but if you wanted one, like if you just wanted a new tablet, this might be your chance. There is an entry for both physical and for both like printed and webcomics, and the entries that are eligible are everything from January 1st of 2020 to the end of 2020, so December 31st of 2020. Those are all the things that are eligible. So the only comics that are eligible. None of the new stuff from this year is eligible, and your deadline is the day after Valentine's Day. So after you spend Valentine's Day heartbroken and alone, realizing that no one loves you, you can always give your comic to them last minute. Oh, Kaz is here. Are you there, Kaz?
Hello.
I sent you the breakdown. I hope you got it. But we're
I
talking about the
did get
Cartoonist
it.
Studio Prize, which have you seen? The Cartoonist Studio Prize. Have you seen it?
That is something interesting I have not heard of before. Like,
so
it's due right after Valentine's, though.
It's due right after Valentine's. It's from a group called the Center for the Center for Cartoonist Studies, and they're working together with Comics Beat, or the Beat, as you might know them as Comics Beat, and they're a big time comics news website. They're actually pretty cool. I use them a lot whenever I have a news story on here that I bring up. It's either them or Bleeding Cool. So that's why I usually reference that, and I show you the webpage and everything.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I think I recently what was it? I found something recently that I don't think like that made into the show, but I will try and get the link and send you that. But you can carry on with the next news item.
So like the entries, I think what gets me about the entries for these things is how they've done it. Okay, so they have a webcomic form and a physical release form. It's all for stuff released in 2020. And the physical print release form is a literal form you have to write in and fill out and mail, right? There's no email to send this form to that I've seen, although there might be one if you're like in the entry page and they're like, oh, if you can't afford mail or something, you know what I mean? But there's nothing for that. The webcomic entry form is just a Google form. And it's like, why didn't you just make both of them Google forms? Why didn't you just make two forms? What is
that? God. Oh, God.
I just kind of love it. It's not like a horrible thing. It's just, you gotta love the way they went about it. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of funny to me, to be honest. Like, it's such an old person thing to do. The prize is $1,000 in a Wacom One tablet, and I'm just gonna say,
yeah. Okay, so Wacom One tablet, right?
Yeah.
It's it's I think when Wacom released it, I was like, oh, okay. So Wacom are finally trying to like compete with like their come down and have something like around the same price as their competitors.
Yeah.
Because prior to this, right, it was always Cintiq, so go Cintiq or go home.
Go home.
So I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. It's an actually interesting device. I have tested out just once. It connects to your Android tablets, no, an Android phone as well if you wanted to ever use it without a laptop or a computer. And
that's cool.
I mean, okay, it's not gonna get you the amazing response of a Cintiq, or an iPad, but I mean, it's a much better screen than it's much bigger and better screen than say trying to draw on your phone, especially all those with finger drawing IBIS Paint X users.
These are the hot takes that will destroy the industry. It's much better than drawing on your phone. Yo. Don't sound so...
No. Okay. I say much better, right? I'm talking about in a sense. I mean, I'm not talking about the most portable sense. I'm talking a more ergonomic sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. It just sounded like such a sick burn. It's for no reason. Anyway. But yeah, they're giving a good prize. It's like the other contests we've had. This one seems to be like well managed. Like everyone here seems legit. Everything here seems planned out really well.
And in terms of rights, you're not going to lose a bunch of shit, right?
It's just it's like you can only submit one work. There's no weird rights removal. The judging panel. Oh, I should say this: the judging panel can literally consider work that was not officially submitted. So if your work did really well, but it wasn't submitted, and they find it, they can just read it and decide to give you the prize instead.
That's interesting.
Yeah. All submissions will be donated to the collection of the the Center for Cartoonist Studies Schultz Library. So all that'll happen is when you submit, if you submit a webcomic or whatever, they're not going to take your rights, but they are going to keep a copy of it. You'll probably need to send a physical copy for all the physical stuff. So they'll add that to their library. They will not be returning you the physical copy. And if it's the webcomic copy, I'm sure they'll probably just have a digital space where they've linked you to be read whenever anyone goes to the library.
Can actually, did you know you can actually borrow digital items from a library?
Really?
Yeah, you can actually check things out now. Okay, so fun fact: if you guys have not visited a library in ages, you can actually rent out or loan out digital items from a library. You can check them out. There are certain ways to do it. Yeah, so you can check out ebooks from a library. Okay. This is something that I only learned at the start of the pandemic. And yes, basically what it is, right? Libraries pay for the license to the digital book, and they have a way of distributing it. I'm not entirely sure what the program was, and it's different for different countries. But yes, you can absolutely borrow ebooks for free from library, and lots of libraries are pushing in towards that direction. So really cool. I won't be able to explain the details on this show right now. Next time I'll figure out whether you can do that with comics as well in a library, and I will explain it, and that will probably put this whole you can keep a digital copy of all these submissions or something in the library. I'm like, okay, fine.
That finally makes sense.
But yeah. Food for thought. You can actually check out digital items.
That explains how they're gonna work with people who released exclusively on on websites what's that Amazon Comixology, that Amazon website.
Comixology,
yeah. So that's how people can get it. That's really good actually to know. Didn't know that. That's actually quite nice. But I'm glad about this contest. It's good. I'm always glad when there's a contest. I'm always glad when there's somebody. I'm not going to use the word gullible, even though that's the word I want to say. But I'm always glad when there's somebody willing to drop stacks on comic creators. That's it. Mm-hmm. I'm always happy. And whenever there's no weirdness as well, it's great. It means that all of you get the chance to make some money with what you make and also get some acknowledgement from what you make. It's not a big, I know it's not going to pay your bills, but hey, look, sometimes your choices in this industry are nothing and something. This is something, unfortunately. It's a good thing though. I'm glad about it. You should all try and enter. If you got a comic you released in 2020, I don't think they care if it's ongoing or not. I'm assuming they're just going to judge you on what you released in 2020. Although I'm sure they would probably prefer to see a completed work in 2020. So all those short story contest entries that you don't have anything to do with anymore, it's a good place to put it. You can hand them in. No, I'm just saying, you can hand them in. They'll probably read them. You might get something for it. So hey, give yourself a solid chance there. Kazi, do you have any contest wisdom to put for people to know when they're entering this kind of thing? Give them.
I mean, like,
You're an
I mean,
award-winning creator.
it's always different, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I mean, just write something, have fun, and then like I mean,
If you had something from before, just put it in and just let it go and see what happens.
let it go.
Oh no.
Let it go.
Okay. All right.
Oh
now
no!
it's,
All right, next bit.
Now it's time for quick bits. Not something I stole from Linus Tech Tips. Why do I keep saying that? People already know that I stole this. And today in Quick Bits, we're going to start with DC Universe's digital service. DC Universe releases their DC Universe Infinite digital comic service this week. I think they already had a service before. It was announced at least back in September. I knew that much. But the new service is coming out will allow you to have access to at least 25,000 comics and graphic novels and will be available to start with new comics available 25,000 comics will be available at the start, and a new set of comics will come out every 6 months or so after they've debuted in print. The price is about $7.99 a month or $75 for a year. It's
6 months after the debut in print, though. Like, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that sort of
it's
thing.
every 6 months, but they have to have debuted in print. They haven't established. Oh no, it is 6 months after they debut in print. Oh shit. Then I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, because I don't know if I want to read.
Okay. So rotating list of free comics every month, pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see, backlist comics were being released every week. Like, so backlist as in like some of the older older back catalog stuff. That's all right. So they are actually missing. So here's the thing, right? We've talked about. I mean, we've talked about like declining sales of like certain like comics and stuff like that, and a lot of it has to do with the distribution.
Yeah.
And I can sort of see why you would want to delay it. Like, you want to get like the fresh print copy out, right, instead of make all those sweet sales and like give all the middleman money. Middleman printing money. But if we consider the fact that DC and the parent company Warner Media, they've been doing all these layoffs and restructuring, and they were like talking about bleeding money, shouldn't they be pushing like digital as like something quite important rather than something as a 6 months afterthought?
I think what's happening with them is, honestly, you're looking at dragons trying to old dragons trying to get with the program. Look, I know this isn't a lot, but for me, from where I knew we used to be from the print media, where we used to be in print comics, this is a big jump for them. Like, we used to be in a state where print comics, if you lived out in the sticks, if you lived really far out, when I was growing up, I lived like in a different country, and like getting a print comic was like a year to 2 year process. Like, I would be getting like issues that people got a year ago, like a year or two later than everyone, or like I would be getting this is a big jump for them. This is a big jump. They've moved up in the world. All right, I want to give them what they've got, even though $80 a year is a lot. It's a lot of money, but but that's like $6 a month on comics. That's not too bad, right? Like, I spend $6 a month on comics. I think, about that much. I don't think it's too bad. I can see the problems. I see what you're saying. You're not wrong. I'm just hoping that like this is like their first step into the place. They're trying to be gentle and careful, and then eventually they'll make it catch up, right? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll. They dropped Diamond, so maybe they're really trying to look for new stuff.
I mean, this is one way to go about it. You are right. Like, 6 months is better than like the previous stuff you had, but I don't know like if this is a little too late in a way. And I'm probably just being like a grouchy like whatnot. But
the interface looks really nice. Look, I know what you're saying. You're not being grouchy. Like, they've burned us all a little bit. So like,
I mean, it's not just them too. Like, I mean, it's not just them too. Like, Marvel to a certain extent as well. But at least Marvel makes a lot of stuff available in Comixology.
That's true. So like, I don't know how they're going about this. I'm hoping this works for them. Marvel does have their own online service that is ass and very expensive. So like, honestly, I'll give them this one. I'll give DC this one for once.
All right. Okay.
The next on the quick bits list, Dark Horse's anti-harassment and discrimination policies. This is not a big one. I'm just gonna make this one quick. It's literally
little background though. Dark Horse has had history of like doing during the Me Too era, right? Like, people have come forward and actually reported on so reported their own experiences with former Dark Horse editors or staff who who've been on the dealing end of like sexual abuse and stuff. Okay, so Dark Horse has actually had like a history of like
dealing with
staffers who
unsavory. That's the word. Unsavory.
Yes.
Dark Horse has published to be open with everybody their anti-harassment and discrimination policies on a public platform. And look, did shit things happen at Dark Horse? 100%. Should they be let off for that? Fuck no. But is this a step in the right direction? Yes. And I think it's more like the fact that it's open for me is what kind of makes it come off as more of and less of a gimmick. Because I don't know how much you know about working in companies. A lot of companies every year will say that they're making these kinds of policies, will never make them, and then just kind of like let it like fall to the wayside, or they'll make a very crappy version of this and they'll not tell anyone about it. They'll be like, read your handbook.
I'll tell you what though. Yeah. Like, okay, so they made the policy good. They updated everyone publicly that there's a policy good. They said, oh yeah, we have an outside HR consultant stuff. Yeah. Now I have been to obviously I am here to be contrary. I have been to a university who also had to like do this whole like we had an independent review like panel and then like implemented like all these things. I would need to get my hands on a copy of this policy to see how well it is worded.
Yeah.
Because a lot of policies, right, are written to seem really extensive and stuff, but it is actually really waffly and like there's nothing watertight about it.
I think they tried to. They didn't. They explained the measures they've instituted. They didn't give like a more in-depth that I can find breakdown, but it shouldn't be hard to find one. The Comics Beat has reached out for it, so from clarification on several parts of the policy. So if there is an update, it'll probably happen on this website, and I'll probably just steal it from Comics Beat and put it on the show. This is comicsbeat.com, by the way. I don't want to get
so fingers crossed. Like that it comes out and we're like, oh yeah, it's all actually pretty all right.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because performative like stuff is sometimes worse than like just not having it at all. Like
you're totally right.
you pretend.
Yeah. It's wild. But all right, now that we've covered this, let's talk about Boom Studios. Boom.
Oh.
So this is the worst part of my life. I'm gonna have to reveal a deep secret that Kaz doesn't know. All right. So Boom Studios is returning to Kickstarter after their Berserk release.
Oh.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're coming back to Kickstarter for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's a hardcover set. It's literally, I think, all five books. And I'm just gonna tell you the honest truth. You know how Kaz bought Berserk, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll never get Berserk. I'm getting the fucking Power Rangers comic. I'm sorry. This has to happen."
It's the nostalgia value.
It's
like
not
I
just
totally
the nostalgia,
understand.
Kaz. All right, I'm gonna reveal a deep secret. I'm a big Power Rangers fan.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Oh no. I own tons of Power Rangers memorabilia and collectibles. Just like a lot. I own limited edition stuff. I own Quantum Ranger gun. I own a lot of stuff. And I don't want to admit it here completely because it's honestly kind of weird when I think about it. I stopped collecting when I was like 19, something like that. Like I was quite old and I stopped collecting. But I own a lot of Power Ranger stuff. And I haven't collected in a while. How much are these books?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? They are hardcovers.
Oh.
They are so like then they are Kickstarter exclusive editions as well.
Oh, no. It's $100
it's
for a single book, or I can get the slip over cover for $120
together.
$500 for the full set. So I guess I'm gonna be broke for the next couple of months. It's just the way things have to be, apparently. I'm just gonna drop $500 on the. Wait. There is a Megazord.
Oh wait,
edition?
did you? Yes, you can actually get like a cardboard standee of Megazord.
Holy shit! wait, no. Oh god. I'm gonna be so broke.
Guys, this show is just totally Nen like spazzing out over like Power Rangers.
All right, guys, we're pivoting. This is becoming a Power Rangers content channel only. Welcome to Power Rangers Hub, where we talk about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I am the Red Ranger. I am your Red Ranger, Nen. This is what's happening, Kaz. I'm sorry. We're no longer talking about comics on this show. It's only going to be Power Rangers for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, well, this is interesting though. Like, I mean, I think this is the most expensive, like, deluxe hardcover edition for Power Rangers that's been put out by Boom Studios. Because the previous ones have all been sold for $75.
Yeah, they're usually pretty normal pricing. These are incredibly expensive. These are amazing. I'm gonna buy them so much. I'm sorry, this is just a lot for me. This is an emotional thing. Kaz, please carry us out of the quick bits. The quick bits are over. Quick.
Yes, they are over. Please move on to our, actual, like...
the rest of our actual show. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Bit Quits. We're out of the Bit Quits. Today we're going to be talking about the Naver acquisition of Wattpad. This is the final show. This is the final topic.
I love how you wrote it in our list as the naval acquisition of Webtoon. I've got to say, like, guys,
yo,
yes, yo, guys, show them.
I don't want to show my shame. Why do you punish me so much? No, but
I am not punishing you. Jeez, man.
This is the truth, everyone. She has all the power. Anyway, the Naver acquisition of what?
all right.
Jesus Christ. Naver acquisition of Wattpad. All right.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of research. Thanks to help from a really good friend, making this research a lot easier. But we got through a lot of research, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna see. Kaz, do you wanna start us off while I just get this up?
Simple, really. So, for those of you who are actually not in the know, Wattpad is the home of. So it's long been like the Zoomer version of fan fiction, and not limited to. But it also like allows for original fiction in there. So fan fiction and fiction press all merged into one. I am not very familiar with what we all used to put written stories up these days, but back in my day, if it wasn't fan fiction, it was LiveJournal.
Oh yeah,
maybe
LiveJournal.
Maybe a DeviantArt journal page, maybe a DeviantArt journal entry.
I'm going back.
And yes, so this is things like fan fiction, but for original stories, you'd have a mix of LiveJournal or like maybe your own blog.
Yeah.
Back when people actually used Blogspot.
Remember when Blogspot was popular and you could get traction writing a blog about pizza? Fuck, dude.
Oh my god, yeah. See, the art of the blog has somewhat died out because of microblogging sites, which you all know it's Twitter, like posting Facebook status updates and stuff. Which is well and good. You get content out fast and you get it out quick. You get it more constantly. But because I remember the back in the day, sitting down and writing a blog post was quite a lot. Let alone stories, quite a lot.
But
I digress.
Wattpad is the place now the kids are going, isn't it?
Yes. It has. It's got certain functionality. You can upload your own cover, like a book cover, like a mock book cover. You can even have an imaginary cast who you headcanon stars.
Exactly. Jesus.
Okay. So obviously, unlike Webtoon, you actually don't have to draw that much, if at all. You may want to make your own cover, and I know, but the classic thing that people do is just steal images from the internet and just slap text on it and all that.
Or in the case of the Unordinary fan fiction that we found on the website, and I spent basically an entire afternoon reading. You just steal a random shot from the comic.
Yeah. So Wattpad, right? Now Wattpad does have its so it makes it sound almost like we're kind of shitting on it before it's dodginess, but that's a subset of Wattpad. Now, and there's another subset of Wattpad. I'm pretty sure, I'm sure that there have been authors who've used it as a way to release legit material. So unlike releasing the stories on Reddit or something, release legit material for free on there.
Yeah.
Although over time it has been some of these stories have been acquired. So the one of the biggest name IPs that was first released on Wattpad, then published formally on in print is the Kids and Coop, both by Beth Regals. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
what her name was. Yeah, that got turned into a movie not too no, I mean at least 2 movies like not too long ago. That actually came out on Wattpad.
Oh.
And yeah, like obviously when it got acquired, like some of the chapters had to be removed from Wattpad, and like
So that means Wattpad's pretty legit. Then we can call it pretty
I mean,
legit.
so like you can find some legit stories on there. Obviously, just like with Webtoon, you have to separate the wheat from the chaff, and it takes a while.
It takes a while.
Now we have talked about the other comics platform on here. We have talked about how they have places for writers
Indeed.
only who don't have a comic to upload.
Yeah.
And we have said that Line Webtoon does not have something like that.
It does
The
not,
closest
yeah.
I've seen is that case of people try and format their like their text for scrolling, and then they like pop the odd image here and there, which
Yeah.
is like the closest equivalent to illustrated like light novels.
And I don't know how familiar with this one as well, Kaz. But apart from the one for Tapas, there's also surprisingly an entire industry from a company called Web Novel that runs like it's like Webtoon but more of a sweatshop.
Web novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't
web novel.
their
Web novels are like okay. So I must say, right, I do hope that whoever like ends up on like whoever like publishes on like Wattpad and Web Novel, there are a lot of them who like really do not know like the legalities of like certain IP stuff, and then like I mean fan fiction is great and all of that. And then but this is whole thing about fan content, like they start coming into like really weird territory. In web novel, like web novel, from my experience, has a lot of people who just infringe right up.
Oh yeah, I found that out when I was reading. Also,
not even for fan reasons. Not even for fan reasons.
Employees or the people who like the big creators is a little weird. But we're not here to complain about web novels' behavior. We'll get to you later. We're not here. We're not here for we're here to talk about the whole acquisition. And I wanna ask you a question, Kaz. It's a very simple question. How much do you think Naver paid for Wattpad? How much? Give me a ballpark guess.
I believe. So internal upfront Kaz is like, what the fuck is money, man? Like, why do we have to live in a capitalist society? Kaz, who actually researched her shit and remembers the grapevine, says it's about $500 million.
You're so close. $660 million.
Well, yeah, at least $500 million.
Yeah.
So
600. And I love the articles about this. Okay, so there's an article that's talking about like what each company has to gain from being acquired by Naver, right? And what Naver has to gain and stuff. And in the article, it's like Wattpad has 72 million users. The end. And then Webtoon has critically acclaimed content. Like that's literally how they talked about it. It was so
I don't know, maybe the PR department is like a little bit weird or like
insulting, I swear to God.
So either the PR department had a brain fart that day.
Yeah, or there's something they're not saying.
Or yes, which is a little bit oof, but benefit of the doubt, right?
We always give the benefit of the doubt.
But no. The thing, right? The thing is, I am not surprised, but that something like this was bound to happen eventually. I was like, oh wow, Wattpad. Like I thought maybe like Webtoon would start out their own service because
Me too,
that's
but I
usually.
can see why they would do this. Also, like I think the writing was sort of on the wall a little bit earlier. None of us were paying attention. I wasn't paying attention, certainly.
In what sense?
I don't know about you. Let me show you this. Let me just put this up on the screen for the fans. So Webtoon sponsored the 2020 Wattpad Award, and like sponsoring an award is whatever, right? Anyone can sponsor an award, but if you work in web design and stuff, there's a lot you learn about the way people brand sites that kind of comes to play in my mind, and it makes things make sense in retrospect, although not firsthand and stuff, right? Like if I saw this a year ago, I'd be like, that's a lot of money Webtoon's dropping, but I wouldn't have thought about it. But Webtoon sponsored the Wattpad Award, and Webtoon's here. That kind of looks pretty normal. It's at the top, but if you scroll all the way down, just a little bit near the point, just after they talk about things that have won and they talk about how to enter and stuff, just at one point, the screen unfortunately isn't showing it, but on that screen, let me just resize it just a little bit so you can all see on that screen. There's literally like a link directly to Webtoon on what is arguably a competitor's website that will take you straight to Webtoon to visit Webtoon. So they're not only like sponsoring it, they're linking off. It's almost like they're working together. I can see how like this was them kind of closing the gap in a more more present space on Wattpad. You know what I mean? They're like showing their face there a little bit more than normal. It's kind of interesting though. It's kind of interesting. I'm glad. I don't know how I feel about this acquisition. It's weird.
I do look forward to seeing like how they do, like if anything, like I don't know how the profile of the site will like go, like whether we will see it, because I think there is something about like the amount of effort you put into something that sort of raises the profile of like all the content on there.
Yeah.
And a webtoon is quite a big undertaking. Not to say writing is not a big undertaking, but I wonder if because of the acquisition there will be like more stringent policies on like fan content, or called Wattpad for fan content.
Yeah, that was something somebody brought up to me, and I was like, but why would they do that? Why would they, like, because we both know Webtoon's pretty strict as a website. Like,
it depends on whether like I don't know, has Wattpad always had a way to monetize of some form?
I don't think they do. I think most people monetize through a PayPal. I don't see any monetization systems on here, although there might be.
Okay.
I'm not. This is not my realm of expertise.
Okay, let me have. Okay, I'm having a quick look. So there used to be a program called Wattpad Futures, so which has been closed. Like it was an experimental program, like for a select group of writers to make money, but they axed it. Basically, they had But they have a few ways that they've tried to monetize. So the Watty Awards, like obviously has prize money. Paid stories is basically another like subset if you want to like put your story behind a paywall. Like Wattpad books if you want to like do print book versions, and all these sorts of things.
I looked up because when I was looking this up. Also, this is the thing, right? I just want to let everyone know. So Wattpad isn't coming in under. So it's not coming in under a subsidiary. It's coming in as its own, like it's high up the ladder. Like where Webtoon is now, where Webtoon is directly under Naver and reporting directly to Naver as a company.
Yeah.
Right. Wattpad is on that same level. So Wattpad isn't like under Webtoon or like Webtoon used to be under Line. It's Naver to Wattpad, straight out.
It's Naver to Wattpad, Naver to Webtoon, right?
Yeah, that means like it's a possibility that they're both going to be getting quite a lot of resources downwind, unlike usual. Like because usually when we started, like the reason why Webtoon used to be the way it was when we first started was because it wasn't just like a subsidiary of Naver. It was a subsidiary of a subsidiary. It was like it was below Line, and it wasn't even like below Line. And like this is Line's major project. Because Line's major project at the time was some API stuff they were working on and some software they were making because they're a software house. Webtoon was their side project, right? And they've gone from being a side project to now being directly reporting straight to Naver, no overhead. It should be getting more resources than normal, which is why they're spending more. Hopefully, because it's making a lot of money for them. And like Naver Webtoon's global monthly revenue was predicted to go up by 43% by the end of 2020. Like that's a lot of money. It was going up from like a 50 billion won to like almost 80 billion won by the end of the year, which is remember it's 1,000 won, so that's about $80 million of total revenue, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about that being what their global monthly like every month they were going to be pulling in $80 million every month, which is wild to me. So like this, the fact that they're considering Wattpad on that same level says a lot about where they want to take Wattpad, especially after they've made that, what's that thing called, like Webtoon Studios or whatever. There's going to be a lot of cross working there, and I want to know. I don't know how that's going to affect output on the website going forward.
Well, I mean, you mean maybe it's there are opportunities there. Like, I mean, you have like cross-platform, right? So like, I will say from my own like personal like experience, like for Exco, which well, poor comic of ours that really does need updating. There were a couple of like slight spin-offs, like prequels or whatever, that we had planned for it, and we could possibly test run things on Wattpad, with well knowing that there's a stronger link that way, without having to like put the extensive like effort into like doing the art for it as a webtoon. And you can like, see how it looks, and then we can always like give the story a second lease of life as a webtoon later on if we have the resources. So yeah, like if we ever had like a prequel or something for Exco, it would probably go on like, I mean, because it's written, it'll probably go on Wattpad or something. Because I personally did not want to use Tapas. I did not want to use Tapas for it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I just didn't expect you to go for the jugular so directly.
I mean,
no.
It doesn't feel. Personally, I don't think it feels right. Like, to. I mean, I know they're both comic platforms with one with a writing wing, but yeah, like the comic's already been on Webtoon. I didn't really want to put it on Tapas as well. I mean, put the writing side on Tapas, especially if we've got no plans to upload there.
No, that's totally valid. That's totally valid. I can see this whole web. I was talking to somebody about the whole Wattpad, Webtoon thing the other day, and the prevailing discussion I've seen come up a lot is that okay, so I don't know if I told you, the beginning of this year and the end of last year, Webtoon specifically actually was acquiring a lot of studios, so they were acquiring a lot of third-party studios, making them in-house comic studios to create content for Webtoon under the Webtoon banner with all the Webtoon money, right? And with the Wattpad situation, a person was talking about, we're talking about, and we're like, is this their version of like basically farming?
Consolidating them.
Yeah, farming writers. They're gonna like get writers off of here, get artists off of there, and then just like basically, are they going to turn all their front page content into not user generated but company generated stuff to maintain revenue? Is that like their goal?
Who knows? Like, but like you see on Wattpad, right? I don't think everyone would want to be in a contract with like Naver at the end of the day. But you are right that it is a good place to look for like other talent rather than the typical typical route of like, oh, I hope I break it and make I break into the industry via like the hard long road of Hollywood. Something, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
It's very Zoomer generation, like, and I like the look of it. I like the look of where this is going.
I've always wanted to be a Zoomer.
You know what?
No, I know what you're saying. You like the look of it. You like where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be, look, maybe this is good, maybe this is bad. It's a big acquisition. It's a big move from a big company. And for a lot of people, I think everyone's a little bit worried about what it means on their platforms, on their fronts. I said this earlier in the show, and I know a lot of people weren't here when I said that. I sent emails out to them, just asking some questions. Maybe we get lucky, maybe we get to talk to one of them. Probably not, but we see where we can get. It would be a very interesting thing to find out about like their broader plans, if they have any, or any short-term stuff that they're willing to let us know. I'm quite excited about this whole thing overall at the end of the day. Anything else you want to add or no?
No, not to this.
Okay. You wanted me to talk about something last minute but you didn't get to?
No, actually, like now I think about it, I'm not really comfortable talking about it on the show because it's it involves like a misinformation from a not very good comics news source, and also like a lot of Twitter bullying. So okay. I kind of want to keep that off it for today, but I will talk to you about it privately. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, it's a short show for now. Like,
I do have like we had an hour. I want to let people know about, if you don't mind. I have one thing.
Well, go for it.
Okay.
So, are you a mega chunk Power Rangers fan? We knew that already.
We know that. We know the truth. We know the facts of the matter here. But I wanted to actually talk about something a lot more interesting. So, a lot of people I know who watch the show and stuff kind of make comics, but they don't really post on Webtoon. They don't really like working with the scroll format and all that stuff. So I present to you from the only person with the greatest number in their name, 63 and 4 quarters, Michi. There is the Webtoon 101 on Clips.
Oh,
on Clip
yeah.
Studios, tips. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's the Webtoon 101 on Clip Studios tip section. It's really, really good. There's a YouTube video. That YouTube video has timestamps. Here's the YouTube video. There are the timestamps, although unfortunately they're not showing up properly because I don't know how to use this app. There's the YouTube video. There are the timestamps, right? You know, check it out. Go. It's not only on YouTube. This is her channel. 69.
Michi put a lot of love and effort into this.
Really
like
good.
it's. I mean, there's a video. There's also like obviously the clip studio article. If you can't watch video.
Article. Yeah, if you can't watch a video, she's got a full article. She explains how to storyboard, how to go about thinking about your comic, a lot of process tips, a lot of dialogue bubbles. Like, it's good work from a good and well-experienced creator who knows their
Even
shit.
if you're experienced with the program, if you made like webtoons before, just do it. Just do it. Like, you never know that it may be things that you have not like thought of.
Exactly. Like, just do it. Just check it out. Give it a good chance. I'm really happy it exists. I think somebody showed it. Somebody I know was using it yesterday, and then just went down a whole thing explaining it to me because I never actually had time to look at it, and I decided, I just went, I gotta tell more people about this. I gotta praise 61 and 49 to Michi. It's the only way. So yeah, like, thanks a lot, Michi, for contributing to the community. I know you were here a little bit earlier. We appreciate you so much. And everyone, do check it out. It's called Webtoon 101. It's by Michi. It's on her website, 69 Michi, and her YouTube channel, 69 Michi as well. So, you have no excuse to not watch it. It's timestamped and everything. So you can watch it in piecemeal and you can save it wherever you need to go. All right, that's the last thing I want to talk about. That's got me covered there. Also, I fixed the chat thing. You wouldn't believe how stupid the problem was. All right, we've got nothing left.
Nope, we're done.
Yeah, I've been then. You can follow
you can follow him on the Twitters, and you can follow the Webcomics Hub on the Insta as well. Like, but really, like these days I am like about Insta, but so yeah, Twitters is like you're always on the Twitter.
Yeah, you saw that crazy thing, the thing that explains how to get traction on Instagram, like how often you have to use all the different parts of Instagram so the Instagram can keep recommending you.
Down with the algorithm, guys. Down with the algorithm. Yeah. I mean, that phrase could be like, used in two different ways. Down with the algorithm. Like, cheesy man. Like, we didn't have a lot like to report on this time, and there's no guests, so like,
but
just taking it easy.
There will be a guest soon. Trust. I will be a guest soon from Macroverse Media. I've been talking to Macroverse Media guys. They're really cool. They're trying to organize.
Oh yeah, like we'll do a follow up with our favorite guys from Macroverse, and this time they're going live, right?
Yeah, they want to go live. They're really cool. There's a whole bunch
good
of
guys.
Yeah. But yeah,
he's been then.
Yeah, I've been then.
He's been then. I have been betrayed by my phone alarm, aka Kaz. And this has been a shorter like Webcomics Hubcast. Please, y'all stay safe, stay breezy.
Stay breezy. Follow us on Twitter. Do the Patreon. Do the Discord. I like having you guys in Discord. It's really nice to talk about comics and stuff. Just like bring up a topic and don't just show up and heavy breathe in the microphone, please. You can watch the VOD on YouTube. Send your VOD to a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. The usual shit. Thank you very much. Good night.
And see ya.